Hello again and welcome to another exciting and interesting video on my water engineering channel. Now in this video, we are going to talk about the water chlorination and chlorine gas dosing system. Some of you already know how chlorination system works and that's fine, but in this video we discuss in details the major equipments of a chlorine gas system.
So, let's get started.
Microorganisms can be found in raw water from rivers, lakes and groundwater. While not all microorganisms are harmful to human health, there are some that may cause diseases in humans. These are called pathogens. Pathogens present in water can be transmitted through a drinking water distribution system, causing waterborne disease in those who consume it.
So water treatment processes such as coagulation, sedimentation, filtration and chlorination creates water that is safe for public consumption. Chlorination is one of many methods that can be used to disinfect water. This method was first used over a century ago, and is still used today. The chlorination process involves adding chlorine to water, but the chlorinating product does not necessarily have to be pure chlorine. Chlorination can also be carried out using chlorine-containing substances. Depending on the pH conditions required and the available storage options, different chlorine-containing substances can be used. The three most common types of chlorine used in water treatment are chlorine gas, sodium hypochlorite, and calcium hypochlorite. Chlorine gas is greenish-yellow in color and heavier than air. Its high toxicity makes it an excellent disinfectant for water but also a hazard to humans who handle it. Because of chemical changes that occur when it is introduced into water, chlorine gas is no more toxic to humans when used to treat drinking water than other forms of chlorine. Chlorine gas, which is actually sold as an amber-colored compressed liquid, is the least expensive form of chlorine and is, consequently, the preferred type for municipal water systems. The second form of chlorine is calcium hypochlorite. It is manufactured from chlorine gas and it is a white corrosive solid that comes either in tablet form or as a granular powder. Calcium hypochlorite increases the pH of the water instead of decreasing the pH like chlorine gas does. The third form is sodium hypochlorite and it is a chlorine-containing compound most easily recognized as household bleach. It is a light yellow liquid that has a relatively short shelf life and it is the easiest to handle of all the types of chlorine. Sodium hypochlorite also increases the pH of the water being treated. A lower concentration of chlorine in this form is needed to treat water than with calcium hypochlorite or chlorine gas. Today, approximately 2/3 of drinking water utilities use chlorine gas. So in this video, we are going to describe the chlorine gas dosing system. The major components of a gas chlorination system are the vacuum regulator, the automatic switchover, the chlorine gas metering system and the ejector. The vacuum regulator unit maintains a constant vacuum on the chlorinator. It should be located as close as possible to the chlorine supply container to minimize the length of pressurized chlorine piping. It can be mounted on the cylinder or on the wall. The maximum chlorine flow rate required defines the type of mounting of the chlorometer. For less than 2 kg per hour, it should be direct mounted on bottle. For more than 10 kg per hour, it should be wall mounted. And for more than 2 kg per hour and less than 10 kg per hour, it can be direct mounted on bottle or wall mounted. The additional equipment includes a flow indicator to display the chlorine gas mass flow and a storage tank empty signal. Other accessories are offered by the manufacturers, such as adjustment valves, manometers or electrical status signals, to meet individual requirements. This ensures precise configuration and correct metering. The second component is the switchover system. It is completely vacuum operated and it switches chlorine feed from an empty chlorine source to a full chlorine source, for a continuous chlorination. The automatic vacuum switchover module shall be wall-mounted and operated on a spring-loaded toggle. The switchover are constructed of molded plastic, suitable for wet or dry gas service and all springs are of tantalum alloy. The third equipment is the chlorine gas metering system. It is installed between the vacuum regulator and the ejector to give a visual indication of the chlorine gas feed rate. Each gas chlorination system will have a manual rate control valve installed after the flow meter tube. An automatic control valve can also be installed in between the flow meter tube and the ejector. Differential pressure regulators can also be installed and are optional. They are designed to stabilize vacuum. The goal of a chlorine gas system is to inject chlorine into the water at a rate that will maintain a desired residual level in the treated process water. Therefore, as the water flow rate and the water quality change, the chlorine feed rate must also be adjusted accordingly to maintain the desired residual in the treated process water. Manual feed rate control can be used in systems where the process water flow and the water quality are both constant. If the water flow rate or water quality are variable, then it is best to use an automatic control system. The last component is the ejector. It's a mechanical device that creates the vacuum that operates the system and mixes the chlorine gas with the water. It is made up of the following elements: check valve, nozzle, body, and venturi. Manufacturers designs a variety of different ejector. You must refer to the nozzle performance charts and curves that can be found in the manufacturer instruction manuals to consider the water flow and pressure requirements for each ejector. An example of a nozzle ejector curve is given here. Gas chlorination system contains also these equipments that I can present in my next video if you want it: chlorine gas tanks, booster pumps, residual chlorine measuring instruments, chlorine gas leak detectors, chlorine gas tank lifting accessories and flexible connection hoses. Now let's take a look how does chlorine gas dosing system work. The booster pump is used to draw water from the storage tank and feed the ejector to create the vacuum and mix water with gas chlorine. This pump is controlled by the residual chlorine analyzer installed at the outlet of the tank. The negative pressure generated in the injector opens the vacuum dosing regulator fitted on the chlorine gas tank and the chlorine gas enters the water to be treated. Adjustment valves control the metering volume and flow meters indicate the chlorine gas flow. Once the first cylinder is empty, the switch cover automatically switches chlorine feed from the empty chlorine source to the full chlorine source. The system will not switch back to new chlorine source until the one in use is exhausted. Here you can see some pictures of an installation of the chlorine gas dosing system in a water treatment plant. As you can see, different types of equipment are used for typical chlorine gas systems. For large-scale systems, additional components such as evaporators, pressure-reducing valves, pressure switchovers, metering systems and corresponding room equipment are used. Okay guys. Thank you for watching and let me know what you think. If you find this video interesting, please do like and share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.